So a little bit different of a project we're going to be working on here. This is a new camper I bought. Wife and I had a 2019 Forest River 179 DBK, a little bit smaller model, and she decided we needed a bigger camper. So ended up finding this guy. Got a good deal on it. It came with a bunch of extras. Looked online, watched some videos, everything looked great. And then I joined a Facebook group for these bullet campers. And my wife makes fun of me, thinks I'm a nerd because I joined those kind of groups. But after doing so, found out that there's some common problems on these. One of the things that they do on this one is the axle is pretty far apart from each other, the axles. We got a 42-inch span there. And they do that. It's supposed to be a better ride and that kind of thing. But one problem they have is they don't like backing up or tight corners. The other issue is the frames were made by one company, and then this Keystone then builds the camper on top of there. So what we have here is one of the common problems is either these hangers here actually can rip off, or this entire bracket can rip off the frame. So what we're gonna do, and as I started looking at it, I was inspecting. Now this was a one-owner camper. They haven't used it a whole lot. Like I said, got a pretty good deal on it also. They took really good care of it, so I was really happy with getting the thing. And then I found out about some little minor things. So we're gonna end up upgrading to a wet bolt kit. I'll show that here in a little bit. And then I bought a different equalizer, this guy here. Update that as well, so that it'll have a better ride. But as I was looking around on this thing, I actually found exactly what they were talking about online. So if you look in here closely, it might be a little hard to see. I have a tiny, I don't know if I can get in quality enough, a tiny hairline kind of crack coming on. You can see there's a powder coat's kind of breaking away there, painting, coating. But we do have a slight crack that's actually started on this rear hanger. So luckily I caught this ahead of time. So I'm going to go ahead and end up grinding all this out, welding it, gusseting it, and then I'm going to be adding some other supports to it. I already started dropping this gas line down so that way I can get to the back side and get that all welded. You see, they welded across the front here and across the back, and they put just a couple little stitches on each side. So we're going to weld that fully and try to fill all that in, and then probably go ahead and gusset our brackets up here. We'll see, you can see how those here. So fill that guy in and make this thing good to go. The other thing I'm planning on doing, as you can see here, I started making some other brackets. I saw online where they make a kit that basically bolts in here and runs a bar across to the other side. That way there's no side-to-side flex on the camper. But because I'm cheap and like making stuff, I'm gonna end up making my own. So I'll go through that as well as we go. You can kind of see here again, little tiny hairline crack. So trying to get this all done, so if we hit the road and put some miles on it this summer, hopefully we won't have any problems. So I'll keep you updated as we go. Okay, so little update on the camper. So what we had going on. So you remember last time we had a crack along here. So I re-welded that, added, let me turn my light on, maybe that'll help a little bit. I added this gusset plate here. Also added about an inch plate here, and then a gusset out here. I wanted this to be a little bit longer, but I also added this guy. Now this is a plate. Let's see if I can turn it around here and show you the inside. I have not welded that guy yet, but this bar runs all the way over to the other frame hanger, and therefore links them together, so there's less movement there. So you notice I gusseted it on the front and the back. Everything's all welded in, not my best welding. The other thing I did is I updated to a wet bolt kit. So I've got to still torque all this down, but what a wet bolt kit is you replace the original bolt that also has a plastic spacer in there and the spring here, and you replace it with a kit that has a hole in it. See that hole right there? And then you have a Zerk fitting, so you can grease your shackles. The other thing it comes with is this bracket here. So if you notice, it's the original bracket, or this is the original bracket, about 3/16 quarter inch thick, and we get a massive difference between the two. What I've seen online is some of these will actually waller out the hole. and so everything gets a little bit more slop. Like I said, you also replace the bushings with some bronze, so that's a little bit better as well. This camper wasn't even used very much, and I can show you here on this center diffuser here. It's kind of hard to see down in there, but the plastic's already gone. So in there, we were already out metal to metal. They did not use the camper at all last year, and the year before they said they used it very little. And most of the places they went were within an hour of their house. So this thing had very little miles on it, and this bushing here in the middle was already gone metal to metal. So that's why I replaced it with the brass ones. What I did is they recommended that these holes, they are not to be up or down vertically when you put them in. So what I did is I actually went ahead and I marked on the bolt where the hole is, so I know that that hole is, you know, on the side pointing inward. This one here, these ones were already kind of in place, so I made sure that they weren't vertical. I know it's up at an angle, but at least they're not vertical. The other thing I upgraded was, here's that center diffuser guy, solid metal, okay, doesn't absorb anything. So I saw online a lot of people were ranting and raving about how great this MoreRide CRE 3000 is. So what we got going on is, one, it has a big rubber bushing in here, kind of like a bump stop, if you will. And then also it's slotted. So this allows for 3 inches more of suspension travel, and it eats up a lot of vibration from all the reviews and everything online, everybody was saying. So while I was in there, I also went through, pulled all this apart, repacked the bearings, and gave it all a fresh coat of paint. I also have a set of new tires for this thing, so hopefully it'll be good to go once we go down the road. The other thing I did at the very end, I was kind of bored and thought, you know, it's got this really nice 19-foot awning with an LED on it. I did find online where I can wire in a dimmer, but I thought it's pretty bright and it lights up your whole campsite. And if the kids are sleeping, which their rooms are here, and then right above there's the light, I thought, well, I don't want them to be woken up if I want a little bit of lighting. So what I did is I bought a set of rock lights off of for like a Jeep or something, and I worked up some brackets. And if you see there, I put a rock light in, and then ran the wires. I made some other little, I put the bolts or put the brackets right underneath the body bolts. And so we go down here, got it nice and tight, everything. And so I can show a photo or a video at the end here of how that is going to turn out. If you see these wonky looking brackets all bent up, that's how they came. That's how they hold the siding over to the camper. I may end up doing something different later because that looks kind of terrible, but for now it doesn't really form any other purpose. So this is the update on the camper. So pretty happy with everything. I just still have the other side to do and get the tires on it, and we'll be ready to rock and roll. So something a little bit different, but that's kind of what I do some random stuff. Also noted here, I did added plates in on the sides here. So we try to tie everything in nice and tight to that frame, so hopefully we'll have no issues down the road. Like I said, I did that bar that runs across. I am making one of those for each axle. I have not, don't have those on the front two yet, but those are to come. So there you go. So here's how the rock lights turned out. So I just gave the thing a bath, and the lights all wired up here. Check it out. Now I can pick a solid color if you want. And then what I did down here, you can see, put a little, see, turn my light on, put a little toggle switch right here that hides in down behind the stairs, right there by the light for the stairs. I can turn them on and off real easy. But just a little extra lighting, kind of cool. Kids will like it. And turn the overhead light off and just have a little bit of lighting down on the ground. Show you real quick how this camper turned out. So lights wise, I tapped in to this union or junction box up here. Added just a little inline fuse with a 3 amp fuse in there. It only pulls 2.5 amps. I tucked the wires. I ran a separate ground. I know I could have probably just ran one into the frame, but I ran my own separate ground. I just like that better. So I ran 2 wires down along the gas line, zip tied them to the gas line. I'll show you that here in a second. So that way you don't see anything along here. I drilled a hole down here by the stairs. You can see down here. That way you can turn the lights on and off at night. You do have to reach down through the stairs, but it's lit up by this guy, so you can see what you're doing, and they don't interfere with the stairs at all when they're folded in. I'll show you the lights here, how my mounts turned out. I'm gonna lay down underneath this thing, get a little dirty. So here's my mounts. So I use all aluminum so nothing will rust. So here's our RGB lights, change all different colors. And then you can see I made little tabs. That way I could zip tie the wires up, make sure that they don't ever come in contact with the tires or anything like that. Added a little piece of hose there for that edge, so that way it can't chafe or rub through. And then suspension wise, what we did, now I did this to every axle, okay? You can see here, this is what I did. So I added this plate to the outside. First off, I welded all the way across, then I added this plate and then welded this all around those seams. I welded on the sides here, so that way back front here and back here, I welded a triangle piece in, so that way we're welded to the frame. My goal was to try to mount this bracket more to the frame, so that's what this gusset is. So I also added a 1-inch piece right here that links the shackle for this outside to the inside piece, and then that way these pieces can't flex as much. And then from there I added this gusset that goes from here up to the frame. Now I needed to get past the bracket, so that way I'm welding to the frame once again to make sure that this doesn't come disconnected from the bracket. If I just stay to the bracket and the whole bracket rips off, well, that was pointless to do all this work. You can also see the bar I made that links one hanger to the other side, and so this one up here I had to get a little tricky. I had to go around the water line, so I had to put a little notch in the bar there. Show what I did also with that. Here, also here's my center diffuser that has the dampener right here, and then way thicker shackles and the grease fitting so that you can grease everything. Also, there's another angle of the suspension I did. Not the best welds in the world, but they will work, and they definitely penetrated. So dampener, so that it takes up some vibration, and then allows for 3 inches more suspension travel. We didn't tow this thing very far from when we got it. Another look at the rock lights along there. Just keep everything nice and tight. We didn't tow it very far when we got it, just maybe, I don't know, less than 10 miles. But even that, we heard a lot of squeaking, some clunking, all kinds of stuff going on. All the bushings were replaced with those rubber, plastic bushings were replaced with bronze, so we upgraded all those. What I did on this side though, to make sure that those, because each of these bars that link the hangers together were different lengths, you would have thought they'd be all the same, but there were some variables there, about 3/16 total difference. I went ahead and I cut out a little plate and I numbered them. That way, see there's number 2, and got number 3. There's a number on the front one as well. That way, if they ever come out, they all the numbers go on the left side of the camper, and they're numbers, so that way there's no way of getting them in wrong. So take a couple extra seconds to make life easier down the road. Also got all new tires for the thing, so should be good to go.